Hey everybody, welcome to Hot Topics with Lady Charmaine. Of course, I got my friends in the building. We have another great show for you today, and we have some really good hot topics. So what I want you guys to do right now is just take the time to just go ahead and share this page with your friends, with your family, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Plus, you can also call us because we want to hear from you. Give us a call at 916-226-9226. If you hear something that you want to chime in and talk about, we want to share this conversation with you. And don't forget to share it right now with all of your friends. And I also want to introduce you to a couple of my partners that join me on Thursday nights. I want you guys to help me welcome my husband by the name of Joe.
All right.
Joe.
Hello, everybody.
And my girl, Miss Marie.
Hey, everybody.
And also the hair hustler, Mr. Derek Dennis. What's up? What's up?
Hustlers in the house.
Yes, he is. And right now, again, we want to make sure that you guys definitely share this page and be sure to comment. I'm going to try to read some of your comments right on Facebook tonight. So if you don't want to call in, I can at least try to share what it is that you're talking about on tonight. Plus, we're going to be talking about trending topics. I'm sure all of you have been following the Starbucks saga of what's going on. And at least they're taking some type of proactive measures, but we're going to be talking about that as well. And I'm so glad I got some black folk in the building because we got some questions.
Got a few black folks up in here. I got a few.
Just because we do, you know, like my father-in-law said, got some questions. And so we're talking about Starbucks. Now, you know, on May 29th, oh my God, I think America is going to go into convulsions because they will not be getting their coffee.
Right.
Yeah, being on that coffee grind. Is that what we call it? The coffee grind?
Coffee
Getting that
grind.
coffee
That's
fix.
good.
Because 8,000 Starbucks stores are going to be closed for what they call a racial bias training due to the incidents that happened in Philadelphia concerning two African-American men, Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robbins. Now, they were sitting in a Philadelphia Starbucks. If you have not heard the story, they were sitting in a Philadelphia Starbucks because they were getting ready to have a business meeting concerning real estate. They were sitting in there waiting for their another business partner to come in. One of the young men asked to use the restroom. Well, they told him that he could not use the restroom unless he made a purchase. Okay, he goes back and sit down. Before you know it, the manager calls the police and about 6 officers arrived and they were arrested. You had 2 white people that came to his, not necessarily rescue, but they spoke to the officers wanting to know, what did these young men do? What did they do besides sitting there? I just thank God that they were, they surrendered quietly. I'm so glad they did that because the world spoke for them. Sometimes you don't need to speak for yourself because the world spoke for them. And thank God that one of the ladies ended up videotaping the incident, which even made their case even stronger. So I want to thank God for her and allowing everyone to be able to see that, because otherwise it would have been just the manager's word against their word. But they had people who spoke up for them. And then there was another incident that took place in Los Angeles. A young man, he went to a Starbucks and he had asked if he can use the restroom before he purchased some coffee. So he posted his video and they told him that he could not get the code to the restroom because he hadn't made a purchase. So he stood outside of the restroom because there was a Caucasian gentleman who had used the restroom who did not make a purchase, but they gave him the code to use the restroom. And so he spoke to the gentleman. He said, nope, he didn't buy any coffee yet, went and stood in line. So the gentleman ended up videotaping that. And thus here we are on May the 29th. Starbucks is shutting down 8,000 stores so they can have this racial bias training. But here is my question, because I know a lot of people have been going in. Should we blame Starbucks and boycott the establishment, or should we deal with the ignorance of the individual, or both?
What y'all think? I just think that that now that Mr. Starbucks came out and said, you know what, I take full accountability. There were no buts. We were wrong. I'm gonna shut this down and I'm gonna retrain my employees. You know, and I'm gonna make an impact. And I'm going to change the dynamics of everything. Instead of that, what's that one where they put the monkey on the they said it was the boy with the monkey. And
the shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what store that was.
H&M.
You know, and they came and they tore them stores up. He was like, we do not want that.
Right.
So I think I respect him for that. And I think that's why it's not so many boycotts or them going crazy on for Starbucks. And let's be honest, black folks love Starbucks. My daughter and my wife, you know, mostly my daughter, I'm like, I see all these Starbucks cups, I say, Lord, what we gonna do? I mean, should I throw them out? He gonna be mad, but You know, so I'm always riding with the cause, but especially when it comes to us, because it is a lot of injustice, and that just wasn't right. You know, you can't, and then come to find out, what the person they was waiting for was white. You know, and he's like, "Why are you? What's going on? You know, I'm trying to make some money. You know, with them.
You guys are arresting my customers.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
Right.
So it was. I think it was wrong, and I just think that it should be dealt with individually, like it was. I feel, you know.
Mm-hmm. Marie?
I mean, I've been following it. I agree with what Starbucks is doing.
Yeah.
You know, because it does come down to sometimes the individuals that you hire. You can't hire them and say, you have racist issues. Will you say something racist if you was at work here? You know, you can't do that. So I'm not mad at them doing that. I applaud them, and they jumped on it fast.
Yeah, right.
So like you're saying, they didn't wait. And they didn't say, well, we were investigating, you know, all the stuff that they just jumped on and was like, nah, we make too much money off y'all. Too many people come to Starbucks.
Right. Joe?
You know, so.
You know, you said it was proactive. I believe it was a reactive part for Starbucks, but at least they did something. So to Marie's point, they didn't just ignore it or think it was just going to wash over. So they did something. And it was sad to me because after all this time, 2018, and again, you know, we know there's racism everywhere, but for that, just something as simple as sitting in a restaurant or a coffee shop, you gonna get the police called on you for nothing, really nothing. So that's, you know, that happens. I'm sure if it wasn't Starbucks, I'm sure it's happening other places that maybe not video recorded or whatever, but at least the training's going out. That's you know, true. So hopefully they'll learn from that.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Well, this leads us into our next topic. If you want to chime in on this conversation, give us a call, 916-226-9226. Do you feel that we should boycott the establishment, or just go ahead and just chalk it up to that individual and not try to chalk it up to the entire company being like that? Because I really do not believe that that is the heart of Starbucks. I just really don't. Right. I just believe that that was a prejudiced individual that was working there that really did not feel that African Americans should be sitting in their establishment without paying. I don't believe that that was the heart and the vision that Starbucks had, because they like for people to come there, sit down. They make it a home away from home, a place where people can go ahead and work there. Because I have business meetings at Starbucks. No one has ever approached me. I still think it was just that individual, but I thank them for the actions that they are taking, because you are taking a hit when you are closing down 8,000 stores, but it meant a lot to them to do that.
That's right.
You know, and to be in the forefront of that. And like Marie, you just said, not okay, we're going to investigate. There was no investigation needed. It was on camera.
Right.
Bottom line.
It was on camera. We saw it. You heard the people speaking. There wasn't one that was needed. And I appreciate Starbucks for doing that. And then people are saying, you know, if African American, then we should be able to shop at our own coffee shops and basically move our money around in our business as well, which we should, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of other coffee shops, but Starbucks is so convenient because they like liquor stores. They got one on every corner.
We ain't lying. And it's good, apparently. I don't drink it, but I heard it's good.
And people love Starbucks. Yeah. I mean, they got one on every corner. I mean, one down the street.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking, though? The thing about the manager in the store, the whole thing about racism is that you don't wear it on your sleeve. You know, it either comes out or action or whatever. So what if the same person was, you know, a hiring manager? You know, same person, head of human resources, and so you don't know what's behind a person as far as their view of somebody black or somebody, you know, different than them, and so that's the thing about racism. So it hides itself, you know. Then it comes out in areas where you're like, wait a minute, did that just happen? And that's kind of what we're experiencing. You know, it's not on the sleeve. It's hard. You can't look at somebody and say, you know, that person's. It's a matter of thought. It's behavior. It's environment. It's something. You know, it's in a person, you know, and it's not something that you can see outwardly all the time, unless they having that, you know, Confederate flag and doing things. But it, you know, it happens, and that's the frustrating thing about it, because that person could have very well easily been head of human resources over a major corporation that, you know, hiring thousands of people, but they got a viewpoint of black people that they, you know, that they have something, you know, racist against. So
absolutely,
it's sad.
Right.
That's true.
And I'm sure that all of us have had our experiences. You know, we can go down, we probably have a laundry list. I remember my daughter and I, we were in a store and we were followed in the store. And we were the only black people in the store. But, you know, they stopped and decided to follow us around. And the last time I was in that particular store, I knew what the young lady was doing. I knew what the young lady was doing. She was following me to the store, and I asked her. I was like, "So why are you following me?" No. I was just getting a tissue that was right here. No. But you know what I'm saying? Not every black person is a thief, but it's just so sad that we have that stereotype. And when I used to work, I used to manage a store, and they always thought that it was always black people that was stealing coming into the store. And I used to tell them all the time, you need to look at everyone and not just the African Americans. And thank God that shortly after, there was a young lady who came in, and she wasn't a young lady, excuse me, she might have been about in her 50s, close to 60, and she was Asian. And she ended up stealing some of our fragrances in the store, and I just so happened to see them in her bag. And then I asked her if she would like to purchase them, and then she was like, "Oh, she didn't want to buy anything." I said, "Would you like to purchase what's in your bag?"
That's right.
And then that's when she pulled it out and she handed it to me, and I was able to use that as an example. You can't just look at black people; you need to look at everyone.
Right.
Because everyone has a look at Winona Ryder. She was up in there stealing the actress.
Stealing.
Everything.
Ruined her whole career.
Right. Exactly. So, but it's just sad that we have those stereotypes when we go into stores. But that leads us to our next question. You want to chime in? Give us a call, 916-226-9226. Now that we are talking about dealing with racism, Marie ended up getting an inbox. She ended up getting an inbox from someone from one of the topics that we had last week. So I'm going to have Marie kind of go into that. Okay. And then we have some questions concerning this, because if you are a black man or black woman and you are experiencing racism like the young men did at Starbucks, and if you are dating someone who is non-black, and if you are non-black, how do you support someone that you're dating that's going through these particular issues? What do you say to them?
Right.
You know, so go ahead, Marie.
Okay, so it's interesting because me and my mother, we had just had this conversation about what I asked this lady. So it was just fresh on my mind. So the lady gets in my inbox and she says to me, "You know, it's a shame that it's a shame that you feel like you don't want to ever date outside your race, and that's nothing you want to do. And there's love in every color, and people, you know, you shouldn't put a color on love. And I'm married to an African-American man, and I love him and I support him very well. And there's, you know, and we have children, and we don't have any issues in our family. And I just hate when people are just talking about this color difference and all this stuff. And then relationships, our relationship is just fine, but racial relationships are awesome and blah, blah, blah." I said, "Okay, well, that's cool." I said, I feel you. I said, "I didn't mean to offend you." I said, "But that's my preference." I said, "But I do have some questions for you." And one of my questions is, I said, 'cause I'm seriously curious on how this is working, especially now with all of the racism and racial things that are happening. I said, "So when your husband comes home from a day at work and he's dealing with maybe, let's say, a racist white woman at his job, and he has to come home with that pressure, how do you deal with that? What tools do you have to help that man through that? What can you tell him?"
Come on.
And then, like, how do you guys deal with, racial subjects that come up? You know, Trump, you know, all what he doing, Black Lives Matter. How do you guys talk about that? I said, you said you have children, and, you know, your children are half black. So, of course, they're considered to be African American. So how are you preparing them for the world? What do you tell them how to function at school or with other people,
right.
You know, depending on their fairness? Or do you just ignore it like a lot of families do? They just live. You don't talk about it. You just coexist.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with that? And she blocked me.
Imagine
Really?
that. Didn't
She
answer
blocked
not
me.
one
She
question.
didn't answer not
Wanna
one question.
start
She just
something,
blocked
but gonna
me.
block her.
Wow, that's deep.
Are you even studying? Are you studying as a white woman? If you got a black kid, okay, I'm not black, so let me go study the history of black people so I know what to tell my children when they get as a certain age. Let me go and be around black women or black men if I have a son, and just get the feeling, just be in the aura of them, and let it rub off on me so I'll know what to do.
Right.
Not trying to be black, but just this is the I have this responsibility now because of what the life I chose.
And it's a reality. It's not just something, figment of our imagination of what goes on in a black community or in society in general. It is reality. You got to deal with it. We just can't ignore it. We can't, you got to acknowledge it and do something about it. So.
I'm just curious to know what it's like for a white woman to have to deal with that. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you socialize with that? Because in my opinion, you could never really relate. No. That's just my opinion.
And if you're watching this program right now, and if you are white or non-black and you're dating someone who is black, give us a call, 916-226-9226. We want to know, how do you handle those situations? Yeah. If you have a biracial child, what do you tell them? How do you teach them the things that they're going to be facing, even if they look like they can pass for white? Even if they look like they can pass for white, but you know that they are black. And what do they say, when people ask them, well, what's your nationality? And if they see all these things that's going on, the negative things about African Americans, are they afraid to say that they're black? They don't want to associate to be a part of the African American community because they can pass for white? Or are they just a child that says you don't have to pick one?
Yes.
You're both.
Yes.
You don't have to pick one at all. What do you sit down and talk to your child about? Give us a call.
That's right.
916-226-9226. If you have a friend that's in that situation, have your friend call in. We would love to hear from them. We want to hear because we don't know. So that's why we're asking the questions. We're just asking the questions a lot of black folk want to know.
Yes, seriously, not even being funny or being having a sad conversation, as someone said here. It's really trying to figure it out so we can adjust better.
Right.
Correct.
What can we do to coexist better? Because I'm really curious. Like, how do you deal with that so we can stop that thing if the answer is so that we can stop that?
Bottom line.
You know what I mean? So we can stop asking this question. How do you live with a white woman? How can you do that?
Exactly.
You guys are doing it, so tell us how you're functioning with that. Right. Have these issues arise in your relationship, and how are you dealing with it?
And to flip it, we thank you. I thank you bringing my career in it. I thank the white women who have black children because they bring them in. They're like, I don't know what to do with her hair. I mean, and it's horrible. Their hair is standing up. They don't know. They try, but they just, they're almost in tears.
The butter.
Because they didn't see it coming.
And they walk around for so long until they're teenagers to where they're being judged by their peers. And I'm like, you let her go through the elementary school
Got
like
the daddy's hair.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just, it's everywhere.
Now, Miss Gabrielle, you can still call in. I see that you said you want to call in, but your kids are running around, honey. Let them kids run around in that background. But I want to hear from you. Give us a call. I know they're running around. Just tell them just for a second. But we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 916-226-9226, because it is a question. And one reason why this, to me, is such a serious question, because let's just be honest. When you look around now today, even in high school, you have a lot of young black men. They're dating Hispanic, Asian. So there's going to be a lot of mixed kids running around here.
That's right.
And there is right now.
Right.
So this is going to be a question that's going to be at the dinner table. In front of the TV. It's just what it is. Because I remember there was, I believe it was a Cheerios commercial. And in the Cheerios commercial was like one of the very first biracial commercials that they had.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The dad was black and the mom was white.
Flipped out.
And people, they flipped out over that. But that is the way of the world. That's what it is.
Right.
Bottom line.
You know what I'm saying? And so why would you flip out when you know this is something that we're seeing every day and it's not going away?
It's not.
And look who's on TV. You see a lot of mixed, people on TV. I mean, the worst thing you can do is ignore it and think it just doesn't happen or we don't have to talk about it. So that's the worst thing you can do.
Because you have a lot of and it's going on because now you have special products for curly hair girls. Mm-hmm. We ain't talking about kinky hair, curly hair girls because it's mixed chicks.
Yeah.
Right,
you know what I mean? Because it's what it is and it's happening. And this is a real conversation that really does need to take place. I know some people, I don't want to say nothing, child. I ain't calling in.
We need to be talking about it because I had my cousin. She's biracial, and I was telling you guys earlier, she was socialized. Now, see, this is my experience. This is why I asked this question, because this is what I experienced. My uncle was white, my auntie, of course, and they had my cousins. And my cousins were more socialized with the black side of the family. Okay, so my mom was putting grease in their hair, doing all kinds. So they were socialized more with us. But when my Uncle Charlie family would come around, they would have that experience, going to the cabin, going to the mountains and doing that kind of thing. So they had the both sides or whatever you want to call that. Okay. But when my cousin Heidi went to college and got called a nigga for the first time, it threw her off.
Sure.
Because then it made her go into, what am I? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, when you talk about it, because when we would talk about black issues in my house with my auntie, guess where my uncle was? Not in the room. So this is why I'm asking this question, like, how do you do that? Like, somebody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? How are you making that work?
Right.
absolutely.
You know what? How do you have to think as a white person too? Because this is really a question for like a Caucasian person. How are you? How do you?
Maneuver around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hi, you're on live with Lady Charmaine. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Vanita, and I'm calling from Arkansas.
Hi, Benita. Thank you for calling in.
Well, thank you. Well, I was married. I'm black. I'm African American, and I was married to a white man for 12 years, and I have 3 children. Well, I have 4. One of them's not by him, and So, I mean, we talk about race. He have his opinion, which he agree with me. There is racism, and we divorced now. But when he had ended up getting on drugs or whatever, and a police is called, if it's a white police come, we already know what side he finna be on. If it's a black one come, I mean, we pretty much know whose side they would be on, and that would be mine. But we do go through race. I mean, we do. I mean, I don't even really know what I'm saying. But anyway, we both agree that there is racism here, and it just feels better when we know it. And I don't pretend that there's not, and I'm very active about, because my son is considered as black. All of them is really considered black, and when dealing with the world and everything, and they have, depending on what job they go to, they can benefit sometimes because they're light skinned, and also if they're with an all white crew or whatever, they're discriminated.
You got to be careful.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the jobs or whatever. So it has its ups and downs on there, considering dealing with race.
So as a mom,
But my biggest problem.
go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead on.
I was going to say, as a mom of children that are mixed race, when did you have to sit down with them and have this conversation with them because they were both racist? To let them know. Go ahead.
Well, it really starts when you're young, and black people and white people does it. When they was little, I have a black child too, and at this time I had 2, a black one and a mixed one. And when I go through Walmart or whatever, there are even black people will come and say, "Oh, she is so pretty. She is so pretty." And here it is. I got my beautiful black baby in the buggy too. And nobody wouldn't say anything. And I pointed out to them, yeah, they are beautiful. Both of my babies are beautiful. And all of that. I would let them know, you didn't even acknowledge my beautiful baby, my beautiful black baby in the buggy. And that's go for black and white. People does that.
Wow.
Shockingly, probably more black.
Yes. So it started when they was young.
Okay.
So now, those who were saying that your child was beautiful, were they black or was a lot of white ones? Because black people, we can be color struck, and we always think everything that's light skin is beautiful.
It was mostly black.
Of course.
That was acknowledged the light skinned
Right.
Before they was black, but it was also a black woman had noticed that there, and she came too, and at one time and said that both of them,
Right.
that was beautiful or whatever, but it be majority black. Does that.
And what's your name again?
My name is Vanita Lambert.
Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So, Derek, man, there's like a whole society of people that we're not hearing from then, right? There's a whole culture of people, if I can call it that we're not hearing from. So she just basically said, it's not easy. That's the real answer. She pretty much Yeah, well, she pretty much said that there's no how she's had to find her way through it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
There's
I'm,
no manual. There's no really
Yeah.
guide. I mean,
You know?
it's a topic you don't talk a lot about, right?
Right.
It's apparently not even in your own home because it's, you might have opposing point of views,
Yes.
different experiences. So
Absolutely.
it's, but it's very real.
and where she showed the race separation came in when she talked about the police. You know, just
Right.
to have that whole dynamic.
Right, right.
In Arkansas.
Right.
That whole dynamic,
In
like you know, your
Arkansas.
husband. If the white man come, your husband who crazy gonna get off because the white cop came.
Yes.
gonna be right.
And not the and I wanted to ask Benita, like, because it was on my mind right when she called and she said that, and she said we're divorced now, and I wanted to say, Benita, did this have to do? If I'm not pushing too much, did it have to do anything with your race?
With the
You
difference.
being black and him being white, and eventually it just didn't work.
Because she said he got on
The drug
drugs.
habit, yeah, she mentioned.
He got on
so it
drugs.
was drugs.
Yeah.
Okay,
She said he had got on drugs.
sure
I'm not sure
that's
if
the
that's
real
the
answer,
reason. But yeah, she said he had gotten on
Drugs,
drugs.
they don't discriminate.
They
That's
sure
for
don't. Ooh, Lord.
Don't.
How about that?
Because those are the things that we do not hear about in a biracial relationship. What are some of the inner struggles that you all have
Right.
that you don't want the world to see because you don't want the world to be right, and you have to
Yes.
face this together, and you have to retreat to your corners and then come back out fighting.
Yes.
What are some of those in-house conversations? I want somebody just give us the in-house conversations that y'all really do have. And I want to know, was somebody out there, if you ever dated outside of your race, you were black and you dated somebody outside of their race, did they ever call you a nigger when they got upset? Because
Exactly.
Halle Berry said that her daughter's father did that to her.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Yeah, they, did that to her, and so when they get upset, they end up using that word.
Sure did.
So I'm
Arbery.
right.
And this is why we're talking about it.
Right.
Is this, shut this down? How we need to think about this?
Correct.
That's deep.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You love what I'm pleasuring you with or what you getting pleasure from. But as soon as somebody make you mad, you go to the lowest of the low because you always have that in the back of your mind to pull out as a
You
weapon.
can't help but
against
think
me.
that. You can't help but think
Always
that.
got it. And the first time that you use it, the relationship is over.
You can't help
it's
but think
tainted.
that.
How can I because that's like stabbing me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you a nigger.
Wow. Yeah, that's
And I don't care if I called you a hunky, a cracker. It will never equal up to you calling me a nigger. I'm sorry. It never will. I could give you a rebuttal with that. Well, it doesn't.
Right.
The damage is is done looking at your white face, who I grew to love or fell in love with, and then I retreated because now I'm looking you as a KKK member or an enemy, and my skin is
That's-
itching, and I have to make
ooh-wee.
different decisions on our life.
He
together.
says different decisions.
That's
Like,
And see, and I know
That's
this is
deep.
a deep conversation.
It's deep.
It's because
Yeah.
I see some of my friends, I see y'all, I see some of the people that were watching on Facebook and commenting, and they're white.
yeah.
Yeah, and we love y'all. Call in and talk about
But
it.
it's a deep conversation
Yeah, it
because it's
is.
just like,
Yeah.
oh
It
my
is.
goodness, and we just want to just talk about it. We know it exists.
Absolutely.
We don't need to turn a blind eye to it.
No, we're not.
And you're going to have more, biracial couples, and it's just real.
Absolutely.
But what are some of the things that a biracial couple deal with, especially if you are a non-black person dealing with somebody who's black, and you see what's going on in the nation right now, and we see the racial divide.
Absolutely.
What are some of the words that you use, to help your black son, if he's going to be called a nigger, if
Right,
he's going through
right.
trying to get a job and he's experiencing some type of racism and discrimination, and your husband, when they come home, and you know what I mean, he may want to say these crackers. I know all those words, these slang terms, but because he was called a nigger, he went. But this is just real. It's just y'all. It's just what it is.
It is 2018.
Yeah,
is
and
what
it's
it
something
is.
that we are definitely dealing with today.
Right.
Yes.
yeah.
On top of so much more.
But thank God for social media,
Mm-hmm.
which is bringing it to like where we're able to see. We knew it existed, but
yeah.
it became our word against theirs, and now
Yeah.
we're able to see it because it's all caught
Yeah,
on
video.
cell phone,
Yep.
on
Yeah.
video.
Thank God.
To I think we're the world now today. Because although in 1965 they were seeing the dogs and everybody was seeing in California what was going on in the South because of television, and now we have instant video that we're able to see.
Right.
Right now in 2018, and we feel like we're back in 1965.
Absolutely.
Yep.
crazy.
We do. I know I
We
do.
have that funny that feeling of 1965, and when you go into the store and you feel uncomfortable sometimes, you think people are looking at you a certain way, or you
they
just
are.
and you feel that vibe. And I'm gonna tell you, when I go into the grocery stores, I'm gonna be totally honest. When I go into the grocery stores and it's like it's myself, and it might be a Caucasian lady with her basket, and she might come up to me like expecting me to move, and I stand
Charmaine.
right there.
That happens.
Come
Yes,
on,
ma'am.
y'all know
You
it's
can go
true.
around me, and it's just real. And I've had that happen to me several times. Like basically, girl, move out of my way.
Absolutely. You know I'm gonna be dismissive of you. I'm privileged.
Right. Yeah, and literally, they'll pull their basket up right where I am,
Wow.
like I'm supposed to move out of the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just stand right there, and I continue to take care of my business. You can go around,
That's
but
right.
that's just what it is.
Yes.
But nobody's talking about it because it's just like it's just
Right.
those silent things that we don't want to talk about.
And I believe that they feel this way too because of how we felt empowered when Obama got in office. We did, but we didn't act like this. It is in the atmosphere. They're acting like their privilege is going back to how Lady Charmaine said, 1965 or 1940. Like you really feel like you have to walk on eggshells with them, or else you can go to jail because if you get belligerent with them, the police come and they're going to automatically be on their side and they're going to slam you and shoot you. Like it's scary out here for a lot of us. And I think what are we called? What generation? Not the baby boom or the baby boomers or that
we not
Generation
baby
X
boomers. I don't know.
and all of them. I think that we just people in the age group of like 35 to 60, 70, we know better. But I'm so scared for the 20-year-olds and the 18-year-olds and even some kids that are 10, 11 thinking they grown and popping off smart with the a cop or a white person, and then next thing you know, your whole life has changed just because of a decision you made.
That's why I miss them old school nanas and aunties that are slowly passing away that had those stories that
big
used to sit
mamas.
us down and tell us. Because I've educated my kids. My son sat him down. We watched Amistad, Roots. We watched all that kind of stuff because I wanted him to really, truly understand because he's a handsome young man. I'm like, okay, you're handsome. White folks gonna like you because you're handsome. So you're gonna be able to have certain privileges because you're handsome. But the reality, I'd always bring it back to reality of how you really need to function. You know what I'm saying? And the racism I've have experienced, I think totally different about my deep closeness with white people. If I'm honest, I'm not like, I can't stand white people, but I'm very cautious with how I do them because I've had very racist experiences on my job happen to me. And it just amazes me because I'm like, wow.
Tell us about some so people who are watching can understand your experiences.
Well, I remember when I was in the store and there was a little boy in front of me, blonde hair, little boy with his dad and his little sister. And he was standing there and the father was being kind of rude, and the little boy turned to me and he looked at me. He said, ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh, I remember you told me that. That's right.
And so I looked at him. And so I bypassed the child and I tapped the father. I said, so when you're at home, you call black people monkeys? Excuse me? Yeah, your child just pretty much called me a monkey. Oh, I mean, well, yeah. So, yeah. And so then I began to kind of raise my voice a little bit. And I was like, that's crazy that you would teach your children that African-American people are monkeys. So I just want everybody to know that this man teaches his children that people are animals and monkeys, that your son just, basically told me I was an animal.
Mimicked him.
I said, and he's only 4, so he's seen that from you. So I put all the weight on you as a father that this is what your child is doing, and you think it's okay. It's not okay, and you need to be careful because I'm kind.
Wow.
Amen. Somebody would have slapped the hell out of that baby.
I'm kind. I've had places where I've gone to the store and white people stand behind me and say, "Why is she in here? Is she supposed to be in here?"
Absolutely.
I'm with my client, so I'm already feeling like the help.
Absolutely.
Don't play with me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm already on
bad
it,
enough.
right? I'm already on it.
All right, AB.
Then here you come thinking it's cool because of what I'm doing,
Exactly.
or what you think I'm doing.
Right.
That you can say whatever you need to, that you say to me.
That's right.
So I have a whole different kind of view. I will turn up if I
Yeah,
see
in a
racism
minute.
happen, because if you're just as bold to do it to me, you need to understand that you can't. You need to understand the repercussions of what you're doing.
Right.
It's not okay.
Bottom line.
It's not okay.
Bottom
So
line.
when we talk about this topic, that's the energy I have, because if my black husband comes home, he can talk to me.
Right.
But when I see a white woman with a black one, I'm like, you can only talk to him to a point.
It's a limit. Absolutely.
You can't go beyond that because you don't have the essence of what I've been through as a black woman. You can't relate to that. You can't relate to somebody walking up to you want to spit you in your face. You can't relate to going to a job as a black woman and your hair texture is wrong. You can't get that job because your hair texture is doing what it's doing.
Wow.
You can't relate to that.
Right, right.
So that's why I asked the question that I asked for get myself an understanding. How are you socializing like that? Because I can't see it.
Absolutely not.
And that's just my honest answer.
Period.
Wow.
Period. I agree.
And it puts pressure on biracial kids because they don't know where to fit in. You hear biracial kids say all the time, I don't know if I fit in here. I don't know if I fit in here. I don't know where I fit.
Yeah.
Then they got that whole traumatic experience because you got us, with your light skinned self. Yeah, I pretty we get they treated crazy over there. Then you, like the lady said, and you got the white folks. Yeah, but your name's Lucretia. You know.
But didn't you have a Keisha experience?
I had a key, y'all.
Tell them about that.
I'm sitting in a hospital with my client. And it's
But
me.
do people understand this watching that your client is white?
My client is white.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's why I said the help, because my client is white. So I'm sitting in the waiting room. It's me, another black girl, a white lady, and an Asian girl. And so I'm sitting there, and the black girl comes out. The black girl comes out, looks at me, Keisha. And I just leaned back and I just looked at her. And the Asian girl got up.
Not the Asian girl.
That was so funny.
And me and the black girl went,
Now what?
right.
Now what?
You know what I'm saying?
Stereotype.
So,
Right.
and that's
Everybody
the
named
point.
Keisha.
A lot of stereotypes we have, and I want to. If I have stereotypes, I want to shut those down.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I can be able to functionally, if I have a situation where I need to minister to somebody, I don't want that biased in me.
Right,
I'm
right.
sorry, I ain't never met an Asian Keisha though. That would have threw me off too.
No, it was
So-
off. Me and the black girl was like, and the nurse was like, oh. I was like, yeah.
I went to a business meeting. I ain't gonna lie, with a white Tyrone.
See?
See, that's another one. I
I
would
thought
have never.
Tyrone, when going to the meeting, was black the whole time and
Wow. See, that's
he
another
was a
one.
white bald head
That's
man.
another
See,
one.
and I've never met a white Tyrone.
That's another one.
Yeah, stereotypes, I'm telling you.
Right.
There we go.
Back with that
There
one.
we go.
Exactly.
Or a white Jamal.
Right.
I ain't never.
Absolutely. I've never either. But if you want to chime in on this conversation, give us a call, 916-226-9226. We want to hear from you. Okay, we're getting ready to switch gears. So this is what we're getting ready to talk about. Oh, you had a topic, Mr. Derek Dennis, which I thought was interesting. He said, can a black person openly support Trump and still be embraced by the black community?
Can they? Can they?
Can you support Trump? Now, if you out there being a buffoon and sand dancing,
Right.
you may not.
Exactly.
Get
And I
the
mean,
support.
like, literally,
right? Throw
like,
some sand down there and you get the shuffling.
Boom.
There's a difference. So now, if you are black and if you're a Republican and if you are a staunch Trump supporter, give us a call. We
Please.
want to know, can you be black?
Please.
You know, and still be embraced by the black community, even though you support Trump. And so we want to hear from you.
See, I
Do
don't
we
know.
make people feel uncomfortable because they say they support Donald Trump?
I don't know if you can even sleep at night if you black and support Trump, let alone being embraced by
That
the
part.
black community.
That part.
I mean, I'll be tossing and turning, and I mean,
just words.
that's
Too much
just
word.
that's just. I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
And
do
then
it. I don't know.
I mean, really, like wearing the shirts and getting in arguments with people. I mean, truly supporting him. And I don't know not one black person out loud that does that. I'm sorry, I don't know not one, and that or honestly say that they voted for. I have some suspicions of some that sit in my chair that's like, you know, they kind of, you know, they don't say nothing when you fight for the cause.
right.
Wait a minute, you ain't saying nothing. Every
You
time
ain't
we
fighting
talk
for no
about
cause,
this,
bruh.
See,
Wait,
exactly.
I have a coworker
See,
that's black that
that's-
voted for
see,
Trump.
See, that's what you got to
How do
pull.
y'all deal with,
you got to
like,
you got to pull the voting
it gotta
record.
make y'all
Wait a minute,
itch.
you got to review the sheets. Wait, your name up in here because I don't see you disagreeing with nothing he's saying.
You look at it and peek around it. Peek around it at him.
That's why that's why them voting records are private.
Exactly, you ain't lying.
Oh, wait a minute. My friend John said that he has an employee named Lakeisha and she is Asian. That might have been her.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, it might have been us.
John, it might be your
that is the
Keisha.
only
No,
one.
but she was like real
might be a
Asian
piece
too.
of
She
John.
wasn't like an Asian person trying to be. She was Asian.
Like no mixed or nothing. She was Asian.
She was Asian.
Okay.
Okay. Daddy
Okay.
wasn't named Tyrone, and she was okay. All right, just checking. Just checking. Just checking.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
No,
Well, yeah.
but seriously, though, there's so many things that this guy, you know, our your president. I don't know.
He ain't my president.
45. I don't know what you call it. But there's so many things that he's doing that's just anti-black, anti-Hispanic, any. It's so frustrating that we got a guy with the nuclear code that has these kind of thoughts and opinions about people, and just anybody different than him. He's just I don't see how you can support that. I don't see how you can sleep at night.
Yeah, and was doing it before he even got in office.
Yeah. We knew that about him going in. So
Come on.
anyway,
I thought it was
you
funny.
serious?
They thought it was funny when he was up there making all them jokes and being funny. And they're like, kick him out. Yeah, no, we're not having it. Ha ha. They thought it was funny.
Right. Well, all right, y'all. We're getting ready to go to the next topic. This one was sent to me. I thought this was quite interesting. Even Marie saw this one. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, now this gentleman says, okay, y'all need to help him out. He says, my son is 5. About 2 days ago, we were out shopping and ran into a high school friend. And he was out shopping with his wife, and they ran into some high school friends of hers. She was catching up, and when she told her friend that we had a son, when the old friend asked his name, my wife hesitated and told her. She had a strange look on her face and then said, you mean like your ex-boyfriend? Our son's name is very unique to the point that I've never met another person with that same name. Now she refuses to talk to me about it. I feel betrayed and disgusted with her. It's like a switch was flipped in my mind, and I just don't look at her the same.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
she
with
ended
him.
up naming her son after her ex, and her husband had no idea. Fellas, how would you feel about that?
I'm leaving.
That's
period.
That's
I'm
I don't
out.
know how you can bounce back from
No,
that.
you can't.
That's tough. You
There's
can't.
no way.
That's
Because that means that a little piece of him is still with you. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
means you still thinking about him with our child.
Yeah, yeah.
And you took the initiative to name.
that's that's the it went out of her thought
Yes.
into our offspring.
Yes.
That you now are calling that man's name
That you
every
would-
time. And
Yep.
I don't know if you. Oh, I don't. Ooh, we.
What was you thinking about him when we was doing
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Like what? It started making me thinking about
that.
Wish this
that
was
right there.
our son together.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm out of there. I can't
okay.
deal with
That's
it.
deep.
Someone had said something
That's
that was
deep.
really good, I think. They had said, what if she just liked the name?
Nah,
I don't care.
Nah,
That's too bad.
The problem comes in is when she decided to not discuss it.
The problem
That's-
came in when she chose to
No,
name it.
right. That's true.
Yeah.
But when he addressed it, she chose to stay silent.
because she
and
has
her
nothing to
feelings
say.
about
What
it.
are you gonna
'Cause she
say?
was guilty. Right.
What are
off
you gonna
rip.
say? You naming
I don't know. I mean,
your child
But that just added the frosting
From
to the
your
cake to
ex.
just
Yes, it
silent,
did.
though, you know?
that right there.
You don't do that. That's like breaking the code
Wait.
to a million times
Yeah,
10.
that's
You
wrong.
don't
The
do-
girlfriend was out of pocket, Lady Charmaine. She was
That's
like,
wrong.
"Oh,
Called
you
her out.
mean whoop-de-whoop?"
That was some straight up shade, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. She was
threw
like,
that shade.
oh.
That was
She threw
more than
that
shade.
shade.
Man,
But you know what? 5 years. I mean, so now what's going to happen? Because guys, I don't know. Guys, we replay back some stuff
Yeah.
too. I know it's just like the ladies replay back some stuff. So I'm sure he going back into his catalog of all them years.
Yeah.
And the times they were together, and anything that came up,
If
and
she
it's
was
just like,
missing.
what's going on with this dude?
Well, Leanne
You
said
know?
maybe the child really belongs to the ex, and now her secret is out.
See, that's it.
That's-
all that
even if it
could
wasn't,
be.
it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
So that's
done.
quite interesting.
That's done.
So, fellas, if you're out there watching, what would
way.
you do? Give us a call, 916-226-9226. How would you
Jesus.
feel? Would you
I
stay?
don't think.
You know,
what?
would you you won't just reject the little boy, would you? Would you just leave and be like, I'm out, peace
Yeah.
out?
And I would say I would
We
fight
said,
him.
"Yep."
I wouldn't reject him, but I would be like, you know what? We're gonna change his name. I'm gonna fight you, and I'm leaving you first of all because I cannot trust you. We changing the name. That's it.
Because
right
you can't,
now.
for the rest of your life, you're going to be reminded about every time you call your son's name, you calling this other dude's name?
Yeah. What part of the game
Man,
is that? That is
right
disturbing.
there.
She was slick. for
That right
That
there.
would mess a man mind up. I can do it.
Ooh, so and so, I love you. You're like, oh, you talking about our son, or you
Right.
talking about this dude that you named him after?
Say that.
Wow,
And I said,
wow.
I would be like, okay, well, you want to name him that? Go find him so y'all both can raise it. How about that?
Y'all can have two
I helped
names.
made
up
you,
in
but
there.
you named the
he may
name.
not
Go
know.
ahead. in.
He may not need to be found. He may not need.
See that right there,
Right.
and a
Like these
unique
things
name
are-
at that. It ain't
Boom.
like it's just all over the place. This
was
you
what-
know exactly
So
what
when
you
the-
was doing.
When
That
the
was
husband
hard.
went back through the Rolodex, he was like,
know exactly
when he
what
was
you
one,
was
you
doing.
was gone for a week.
Yes.
When he was
that
two,
part.
he did kind of have a
Yeah,
job, business
yeah,
meeting
yeah,
that nobody
yeah,
knows what it was
yeah.
about. Still trying to figure it out.
So that was so deliberate. You know,
Yeah, she
if
threw
it's a
that shade.
unique
Gonna visit your
name,
mom, but
She threw that
your
shade.
mom
Yeah.
said you never came.
that right there.
She knew what she was doing. Well, give us a call, 916-226-9226 if y'all want to talk about this topic. Fellas, what would you do? And ladies, why would you even name your child
Don't
after
do it.
your ex-boyfriend? For real?
I'm
Because
out.
you're not over him.
Yeah.
That's why, and that's what he put together.
True
two
that.
and two together. You ain't over this dude.
Yep. He was in your heart.
There's a
Yeah.
special
All
memory
in
there
your heart.
that she had to hold on to.
Absolutely.
And you probably wanted a baby with him, but y'all didn't work out or something happened, and you gonna name our baby after you must be out there. You a fool.
They friends on Facebook.
You must.
Leanne said demand the blood test.
They friends on Facebook.
Need to go to
See, that's
paternity court.
another thing.
Paternity court.
That's another thing.
They friends on Facebook.
Okay, fellas, since you guys are literally
Messaging
on a
each other.
roll,
What if she had a high school reunion?
Oh yeah, the high school reunion you went to when he was 3. And you didn't want me
That's
to
his
go
baby.
because we didn't
That's his
have
baby.
no babysitter.
That's his baby. That's his baby.
Okay, y'all ready for the next hot topic? Okay, everybody. Here we go. This one is quite interesting. And so, and here it is. And it reads, okay, this is what Eric Haynes, he said, I recently went on a date with a nice woman. We had dinner, drinks, and great conversation. As the waiter brought our bill, my date asked me, could I buy 2 takeout dinners for her kids? I said no, because I don't even know her kids. She had an attitude for the rest of the night. So I cut the date short. Question, was I wrong for not buying her kids I never met dinner? And was she asking for too much too soon?
Yes. She was asking for too much too soon, and I think he was wrong for not buying them dinner. I mean,
Hey,
come on. I mean,
hey.
that's a first date. Myself, I probably would have went ahead and did it just to be nice, but then we would have had that conversation about that later down the road. I just, she was too soon, and I think that was kind of cold. Get the kids something to eat.
Okay, now I have a friend, and I'm telling you, I have a friend. My friend, she had 4 kids, and every time a man would ask her out to dinner or anything, she'll say, "Hold on, let me go home and get my kids," and she literally would do that.
See,
Y'all
that's
see my
wrong.
face, right?
See, that's
She
wrong right
using
there.
him.
That's wrong right there.
Because she said her kids needed to eat.
That's
It wasn't
like-
fair
that's like
she'll
that
be
baby
eating
kids.
and not her kids.
Right.
So she needed to. But you don't think that was a good mama looking out for her little offspring, making sure they ate? She can't be coming
That's
home on the
kinda-
food.
You know what? If it's
and
a
the kids still-
intrusive, man.
If it's a date, you can decide whether that you want to continue that or not. But if it is a first date, I would have went ahead and bought the couple of to-goes for the kids, but then made a decision if I want to continue this relationship.
You would have had to because the next question was
really.
going to be, can you pay my phone bill?
Not really.
Another bill was going to come out of that, though. If she easily can ask you for money like that and you'll give in, there's another. She going to ask for a PG&E bill to
That's
get
my
paid.
brother, and I love him.
I would have did it.
This is what I would have did. As soon as she would have asked me, could you get after I didn't pay for both of us,
No.
and you gonna ask me, can I get your kids? I would have been like,
And we had crustaceans? You must be crazy.
you know what? This has been really nice. Here is your ride. I've called you an Uber, and I cannot.
Wow.
I don't even want to get in the car with you no more because
Wow.
at this point, my mind clicks. His mind works differently, and I agree that really probably what you should do. But with me,
The real answer over here.
I would probably be a little petty.
No,
Like,
that's real. That's
are
real.
you kidding me? I barely taking you on a date. I only got $7 more in my account. They got to last me for 2 more days.
Right, you don't know a person's finance.
Yeah, and you
I would
really
feel
gonna ask-
uncomfortable
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Like I said,
doing
she
things.
was wrong for asking. She was wrong for
Yeah.
asking. But if it's somebody that I'm really interested with, hey, this is our first date, I would have went ahead and bought the kids a little something. But then really would have had to think if this is something I want to continue.
But when you would have thought about it, would you continue it?
I don't know. It depends. It
But-
depends.
but
It
now-
depends. It depends on how well I'm interested in her because I know it's a package deal. She's
Okay.
already made that clear.
Okay.
So if I'm interested in her, I'm assuming the kids are going to be a part of that. It all depends. But the question was, I mean, the dinner was seeming that everything's going well, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So it just depends. But I mean, she's asking for her kids. I would have did it.
Are the kids
That's-
at
I mean, that's a
home?
great
Are they
thing to do.
starving? There's
Well,
just
how
food
about
just-
taking them to
I-
McDonald's or something? You know what I mean? I'll go get 2 Happy Meals.
Yeah, because we are Red
And make 'em
Lobster.
smile.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm finna get them biscuits.
Why not Happy
crab.
Meals?
I mean,
stuff.
every
Oh.
restaurant got a kids meal, so I'm giving a couple of kids meals to go.
I don't know. I'm a woman.
They ain't
I'm
having,
just like,
they ain't
I
eating
don't
what we
know.
just finished eating.
Okay,
You
not
go
at all.
on.
Not
See,
getting steak.
See, that's why
You
he's
gonna get
ain't he
your
so sweet? If we would have rolling up to
meals.
Mickey D's or something, you know
Okay,
what I'm
for
saying?
real.
You know, get a
For
$4
real.
Happy Meal under $10, we would have been
I mean,
straight.
come on, that's a
what does
whole
that
nother.
look
That's
like?
a whole nother stop. all
McDonald's
that.
is on the way. They
We
got
just get a
McDonald's on
couple to
every
go.
corner. You was gonna pass the McDonald's.
Get these couple of $7 kids meals. They can have that. You know,
share
the
it.
chicken fingers and fries and stuff to go.
But it depends
That's
on where you
good.
took
Brother
her.
Joe was a good
$7 is cool, depending on where you took her.
That's
Because not every
14%.
kid's meal.
Yeah.
Every restaurant got some chicken
But
fingers.
not-
And
but
it's
not
like, where my
$7.
kids drink at? You gonna just give them the chicken fingers
See
and
how he see
fries?
it? See how he see
Where's
it?
my drink?
See?
See, now you get off the hook.
That's $1.49.
Hey, I'll take some lemon with some water.
Right.
Water and lemon to go. There's the drink right there.
Well, John said,
That part.
truthfully, he said, I would have paid for the kids and then not see her again. Not see her again.
But I
you
would
can
have
do
felt
that.
uncomfortable asking because I'm thinking he gonna
Yeah.
think I ain't got no food in my house. He gonna. How does she lead it? If I was gonna ask him,
Like I said,
you know,
that
my
was too
daughter
soon.
loves this place.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe we can get her a little something because she loves this
Oh,
place?
trying to be.
But
oh,
I
no,
love
your
it.
2 kids.
But
Yeah,
I
both of your
wouldn't.
kids
But
love it.
honestly, I would.
Said both of them. You
Wait a
love
minute.
I wouldn't be
They
doing
both
it
don't
though.
like both. Like,
But
they
look,
both
but I
got to be
wouldn't.
different.
He said both your kids.
So you had Bubba Gumps. You had Bubba Gumps and then
Give
some
a
all
bucket
them
of
Bubba
trash.
Gumps.
Right.
And Bubba Gumps is not cheap.
Oh, it's so late.
Well, Benicia said, she said, then you would be buying school clothes, paying
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying, girl.
See?
more.
That's what I'm
See?
saying, homegirl. High
That's
five.
why
Go
I
and
asked my
give it to
brother,
me.
is he ready for it?
But you know what? That's my decision to make afterwards because I know what I'm getting myself into.
True. That's-
So if
that's
I'm
true.
interested in this woman and she got a couple of kids and she asked me, I know up front when we go someplace next time they just probably gonna come with us because that's just how it is. Now, if I'm not interested in her, I would buy the meal, whatever, and we just call it a day.
I guess
I know when she called me next time. I know this is a
I'll text you later.
this is a dinner for 3.
I think we the snipping in the bud. Nah,
Nah, I can't let it drag on, bro. I'm like,
You ain't getting nothing.
matter of
Cause
fact,
you
I'm
gonna call me
insulted.
tomorrow. I can't make it to work. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. What
I mean, have you ever been on a blind date? See, I've been on a blind date before where I drag stuff out a little bit just because I don't want to end it so quick. And I can think that's part of that's just in me. I just gotta drag it out a little bit because go away from the house for a little bit, but come back knowing you ain't gonna see the person again.
Right.
That was
Drag
me.
it out.
Yeah, I mean, we out, got dressed.
Exactly.
I had that experience where I picked somebody up and it was gonna be bad all the way around.
we
Right
got
from the
another
start.
hour.
But
I got at least an
I
hour
already
with
said
you.
we're gonna take you out, so we went out, hung out a little bit, and I just was looking at my watch, and all right, time to go back.
You ready? You done? You gonna eat that? You're not gonna eat
So
that? Can we get a
that's
to-go bag,
just-
please? You're not gonna eat that.
That's just me.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
just me.
Okay,
That's
we,
your pure heart, though. That's beautiful.
No, that's the right answer.
Yeah, it is.
I
Bottom
ain't gonna lie to
line.
y'all. But where I'm at in my life right now, I ain't asking
can't
no
do
man
it.
on no date for no food. He ain't. Nah, I don't even want to look like that.
Yeah, because not all the
I
time
don't
I'm
wanna
gonna be
look
in the
like
mood for your kids, so.
And I might not want you to be
Derek just
around
look
my
tired.
kids.
You just look like
Oh.
disgusted.
Oh,
You and your kids, it's
Here
stuff.
they come again. What they need now? We going to J.C. Penney?
No, where they daddy at?
Yeah, where they daddy? And here he come. He could be disrespectful and everything, and then I still gotta pay for him.
And then they tell you that you ain't my daddy.
Yeah, I said no. But y'all eating my food now. I can't do it.
You want to say that when chicken fingers, huh? No chicken
$7.
fingers.
your pride and your
$7
$2.49
chicken.
little drink.
Oh my gosh. Y'all pray for us.
Ooh, pictures. What you mean?
Not the stupid. You know they expensive.
I got 2 kids.
Talking about raging waters. What? Summertime. What?
Right,
They want
right.
season passes.
Nothing to do with me. I ain't even gonna be here.
Y'all want pizza too? $8 a piece.
Hey, $8 a slice.
It's not cool. It's not a good look.
Well, everybody, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to our Hot Topic show today. And I want to thank the young lady who called in from Arkansas. We thank you so much for calling in and definitely sharing your story. And this segment of the Lady Charmaine Live Show is sponsored by UpAndAwayTravelServices.com. Be sure to book your next travel event at UpAndAwayTravelServices.com. And if you're interested in starting your own travel business, you can also contact Miss Sherry Brockman at 916-826-6606 if you're looking to get discounts on your travel services. And again, I want to thank my folks, my husband Joe, for joining me on the show, my girl Marie, and the hair hustler, Mr. Derek Dennis. Let people know where they can find y'all.
I'll be here next Thursday.
Yes, he will.
I feel like Russell Simmons. I'll be here.
Clap It Up.
where can they
I'm
find
on
you?
Facebook, the Clap It Up movement, and Beautiful Bearded Women on Facebook.
All right.
Yep.
The hustler.
And I'm on Instagram at Hair Hustler and Double Take Hair Gallery. And you can find me here every Thursday night.
Right
Every
here.
Thursday. Praise
So
the
possible.
Lord.
Right.
And y'all can find me right here on Facebook. You can also go to my Lady Charmaine live page and be sure to like the page over there. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at I am Lady Charmaine. And again, on YouTube, you can always go back and watch our videos and watch all of my celebrity videos on YouTube at Lady Charmaine TV. And be sure to join our Hot Topics group. It's Hot Topics Real Talk No Chaser. So if you got a hot topic you want us to talk about, drop it right there in the group so we can all discuss it. And again, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And we look forward to seeing everyone next Thursday. And don't forget, on Monday, I'll be talking to Mr. Richard Lawson. We're going to be Mr. Richard
Beyonce
Lawson.
stepdaddy.
Big Dad, Beyonce stepdaddy. We're going to be talking about his new role in the BET show In Contempt. So make sure you tune in on Monday. Talk to you guys later. See y'all Monday
All right.
and next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.